Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Flowers. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, for those listening, kindly let those listening know who you are and a bit about yourself.
My name is Lisa Flowers. I'm an American business strategist that uses social media to help companies and sometimes even countries bring about change.
Okay. And why your interest in ICT, and specifically social media?
I think social media is one of the more critical and effective tools to bring about change, whether that's change in thought or opportunity. And it's something that anyone can use no matter where you are. You can use it from your computer or from your palm, your smartphone. So that's one of the reasons why social media, to me, is something that can bring people together, and change can come about.
Okay. From your own perspective, what could be the driving force for the exponential growth of the internet?
Availability.
Okay.
I think that people want to be connected to beyond their town, their country, their village, their street, and it's a hunger for more, whether that's information or connectivity. So I think that's why the internet is really exploding, and people want to have a voice. If you are not online, then you're giving your voice to someone else.
If you are not online, you are giving your voice to someone else.
Right.
That's quite in-depth. And like you mentioned, the availability. Does that also include the African continent?
I think the African continent is primed for internet accessibility and use, particularly in the northern region of Africa. The world is connected a little bit differently than the African continent. There's a lot of loose ends that that African countries need to pull together in order to have accessible internet access, as well as simply internet access that is reliable, but more importantly, almost convenient and affordable. Affordability of the internet is a huge problem, particularly here in Nigeria. It's very expensive as compared to the U.S. And in other countries as well. So I think that the continent in itself is certainly primed for using the internet more effectively. But affordability and internet access has to happen first. And there's not a lot of infrastructure in place for that yet.
Nice analysis. From an expert's bird's eye view, how do you envisage the growth of the internet and digital platforms in the coming years in Nigeria?
In Nigeria, there needs to be some structure. I think that the local, the Nigerian companies here that offer internet access should have a certain level of social responsibility. It is a communication tool, and it can certainly be used for good, and it can be used for growth within Nigeria. Going back to the voice that I mentioned, everyone has a different perception of Americans, of Nigerians, or whatever it is. And so if you have more internet accessibility, you're going to have people talking more. And that would be the biggest catalyst for change, for growth here in Nigeria.
Nice. How do you think the internet age has impacted lives on the African continent?
It brought me here. My journey, my adventure to Nigeria started with a tweet.
Okay. Really?
That is the simplicity of the internet and accessibility. That a woman clear across the big pond, as I call it, a woman clear over, all the way over there on the east coast of the United States can have one conversation, one tweet with someone living here in Nigeria, and a year later she's on a plane, leaving her entire everything to come here and meet that person. And so the conversations that take place online instead of before you would have to travel to a country many times to form those relationships, you would have to go and come back and go and come back, maybe phone calls, maybe letters. It could take years to do that, to build that trust. On the internet, there is a sense of community. So there's also a sense of trust. And so once you get here and you're online, you're here and you're in person, then you kind of just pick up that conversation where you left off online. And so you have a built-in sense of relationship and trust and community.
Nice. For those who don't know, you are a non-ICT expert in the US. How can one be influential using the internet?
How can one, I'm sorry?
How can one be influential using the internet?
I think you need to have, number one, focus. You need to figure out what your goal is, why you're on there. What do you want your voice to be? And you need to have all of your platforms, so for example, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever that might be, you need to have them cohesive, where they all kind of look and sound the same. So you can't have one platform that says, for example, I love puppies, you need to, if you're going to do business on it, then you need to do business online, and you need to focus on that. So number one, having a focus and a reason and goals associated with that. And with those goals is also, who are you trying to reach? Who do you want to talk to? Who do you want to listen to what you're saying? And number two is, as I mentioned, simply having a good plan in place, but that all of your platforms are cohesive. So if you want to be this on one platform, you need to say you want to be the same thing on another platform, because people will look for you. They'll interview you before they even meet you or talk to you. They'll go look at all of your platforms.
More or less, it should be unison, holistic.
Exactly.
Okay. To the next question. What do you think the internet has in store in the next 20 years? In the next 10, 20, 30 years?
I think that it will be raised to a level of connectivity that we can't even imagine. You'll have an entire generation that doesn't know how to communicate except by using online tools. And there's some good and bad associated with that. The human part of communication is critical, but social media, as an example, can bring those people together. So you meet online, you talk online, and then you meet in person.
How can people position or capitalize on the vast opportunities available via the digital and internet sphere?
Number one, going back to the goals associated with that, if you're a company and you want to do business somewhere else, then you use online and the online platforms to dig around to find out those opportunities. What are people talking about that are related to what you want to know about? You follow those people, you retweet those people, you participate in a Twitter chat, as an example, or you form a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, and you have those conversations contained within that. The other thing is being able to simply say, I want to talk to you. Before, we would never be able to speak with CEOs and presidents and all that other, all those other people. But now you reach out online, and you're automatically talking with them.
Nice. Personal question. Are you working on any projects, and would you be willing to divulge any information or top secrets?
I don't have any top secret stuff. I am very transparent. As you can tell by my online platforms, I live an online life. And so my personal and private, my personal private business, whatever is online. But some projects that I'm working on are in the United States. For my state is putting together a series of Twitter chats. I'm also working on here in Nigeria, but as well as the African continent, putting together another series of Twitter chats about Africa, and forming a couple of different groups. So next week is Social Media Week. It'll be interesting to meet people with different ideas, and also with similar ideas where perhaps we can form some sort of alliance, or to see what synergy and what energy is going. We are considering a larger event here in Nigeria that we're still working on, but that may happen next fall.
Okay.
So also becoming a little bit more involved with the local Nigerian community in regards to those Twitter chats, or maybe it's an Instagram project. So still working, trying to figure those out.
Okay. What was the title of the book you are currently reading?
Currently reading. I have 3, so I have to remember that I read little snippets of stuff. So I have one that is Return on Relationship by Ted Rubin, who is an incredible marketer, and really shows the potential of relationships and building relationships using the internet. So Return on Relationship is one. Ted Rubin is very well known and admired in the U.S. in regards to using the internet for relationships, business relationships.
The second book.
So the second is, I can't remember the title of it because I carry it with me when I travel. And so I keep 3 books with me when I travel, and so I only read them when I travel because that's about the only time I slow down. But
and the third book?
The third book I keep, I know this sounds strange, but I have a travel journal that I've kept since 1999. And where I've traveled throughout the world. It's where I write down things. So I like to go back and read where I've been and my thoughts during that time. So.
Lisa, it was nice having you on my platform. Hope to see you next time you're in town.
Thank you very much.